Welcome to From Rome Info Video here just opposite Piazza Santa Sofia in Kyiv, Ukraine. And I'm just walking along and I hear my own native American English, and I said, you happen to have been a member of the Ukrainian Foreign Legion? And he consented to an interview. He's an ex-member, so that's why he consented to an interview. And Jersey, how did you go from New Jersey to the Foreign Legion?
Well, Brother Alexis, it's a long story. Basically, like everyone else who encountered, the news between February and March of this year, seeing things on TV convinced me that there was a righteous fight to be had here, and I think as soon as it was made publicly available, I went down to the consul in New York, and I tried my best to get the consular's ear, and next thing you know, I booked a ticket over, and I found myself in a base for a couple days before we were attacked.
Now, before you get into that, since I got a degree in anthropology, I'm always interested in people's personal connections.
Right.
Did you have any tie by blood or religion to the Ukraine?
To Ukraine, yes. We can argue that. I have two tattoos on my hand. One represents the Ukrainian Armed Forces. The other represents the Polish underground state. And if anyone's knowledgeable about Ukrainian-Polish relations, they know it's a bit of a complicated history, but my family grew up in what is now considered Western Ukraine. And they were displaced during the Second World War, and they were moved up to northern Poland. And for me, I think being part Polish, about 50%, it's just a matter of duty, really, to come help our Ukrainian brothers and sisters in their hour of need, especially considering the history of Polish Catholicism and its battle against communism.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people say that one of the big motivations in the Foreign Legion, all these foreigners just hate Russians and are racists. Is that true, or is that a myth?
In the experience that I had, which was little, I mean, I have to be honest, I've spent a lot of time now in voluntary battalions. I've just emerged from another one, the Ukrainian Voluntary Army, which is also an excellent outlet for guys looking perhaps or maybe older or don't speak fluent English. I saw a meme on the internet yesterday that I think does a great job of explaining the situation. For me, it's not about hating what's in front of you, it's about loving what's behind you. And I think that's the motivation probably of a lot of guys here that recognize the threat that an aggressive posture that Vladimir Putin is taking on this country is on Western democratic values. And I think more than anything, we have to find in our hearts that to be the anchor. I'm sorry if I'm not perfect with how I'm saying these things, but basically for me the motivation is more about acknowledging the debt to the past that we owe, reconciling the problems that existed between Polish and Ukrainian people, and trying to find some kind of redemption. We both committed terrible atrocities against each other, and I think the Christian thing to do is to forgive. And I'm Orthodox myself, I have to admit, but I will say this, and perhaps this is of interest to you. Prior to coming here, I had been an atheist for a very long time, and in my experience being here, I have to tell you, I have found it cathartic, and I have found it very much a source of stress relief to return to a church and to do morning prayers and to experience what can you say, a sacred act. I mean, that literally brings tears to my eyes. I mean, when I attended a christening a couple of days ago for a man in his 60s going to the front line, I started weeping almost uncontrollably, just by the beauty of the ritual. And I think Christianity, I mean, if Jesus Christ were alive today, I think he would find what's going on appalling. And what can I say? It's not very Christian to kill your fellow man, and I wish the Russian Federation would understand that.
Now, one of the big part of the narratives of criticizing the Ukrainian Foreign Legion is that all the volunteers are Reddit readers and they're silly people that take things. From your experience meeting with these guys and being with these guys, what did you find inspires them? What kind of men are they?
Again, well, I mean, I've seen those memes too. I myself was the subject of a Reddit expose, but a positive one. They referred to me as a king, which I thought was a bit much. But what I wanted for myself was the knowledge that, okay, after the attack, I would return, that I wouldn't be considered a Reddit reader, part of the Reddit army or something, and then just that is that. I wanted to say, okay, the attack happened, I left, I got very ill for a while, and I returned. And of the people that I met, I think you wouldn't find more dignified, brotherly individuals than I had there. I mean, really, prior to that attack, I met some absolutely lovely people. And none of them, I think, you could classify as being sort of just keyboard warriors, by no stretch of the imagination.
America is very different from the Ukraine. What has impressed you most about the Ukrainian men in their armed forces?
Generosity. I mean, I've got a bag of food there just for a brief sojourn I'm taking that everyone gave to me, just in hoping that I was all right, and of course, wished me the best and did the cross before I left. Generosity, kindness, respect. I mean, these are words we just sort of throw around, but they have value and meaning. And considering that I do believe this in my deep heart, that this is an honorable fight, the defense of this country, I think, yeah, these are the kind of people you want to be fighting with, and yeah, are honored and privileged to do so with.
We Americans talk a lot about patriotism, defending the country, gun rights. I find myself in awe of the Ukrainians. They seem to be doing everything we claim to do. They're doing it. Is there morale that high among the Ukrainian armed forces?
I think, being that, for example, for someone like me, it's a choice. For them, it's a matter of sacred duty. This is their land. It's been for centuries, and they know they have a stake in the game beyond anything that we could comprehend back at home right now. Because if they don't, they're done. As I was arriving here, I saw the burnt out tanks. I saw the destroyed buildings. It's a fight to the death, unfortunately.
Now, for the guy out there who might be thinking of volunteering in the Ukrainian Armed Forces or in the Foreign Legion, what can you tell them to encourage them? What is true and what is false? Who is being accepted, who is not being accepted? Can you say anything about that?
Sure. My own personal military experience is very limited, but I was honest about that. And I think what is important at all times is to recognize that if you yourself feel that you would be best suited for a particular kind of work, be forthright about that, because you never know, you might fit in another department or another field. So for example, if you're good at articulating a point of view, maybe you'd have use in the press department. If you're you want to do more sort of hands-on voluntary work, you might be good with logistics. If you're good at intelligence gathering, maybe signals is perfect for you. I mean, the last thing this military unit is someone with a sort of gung-ho Rambo mindset that will lead to other people being harmed. If you have extensive military experience, make that apparently clear. Just be honest, and it'll go a long way for you. And speak out about it. Don't allow yourself to be put in a position where you don't feel comfortable and you feel so out of your comfort zone that you end up endangering other people.
Okay, so I'll ask you some direct questions. I heard it said that at the beginning in the Foreign Legion they took anyone and gave them a rifle, but then they wanted people who had already been in the military, and that now the requirement is have been in the military and seen combat. Is that true or false?
I would say the screening process, I mean, not to put too much of a PR spin on it, but I think the screening process has really tightened up. I think at first, I mean, you must remember that although Ukraine has had many years to prepare for this, I mean, the Russian advance, I mean, when is an imminent threat no longer imminent, you know? I think it is, there were, of course, edges to be, you know, sharpened. And, yeah, some people that shouldn't have been got, you know, through, and unfortunately that is the case, but they've done such a better job now at sorting those kind of people out. I mean, for example, one thing they've done is taken people that have been rejected and trying to get them to do other kinds of work in the field that otherwise, you know, would not have been done. So, for example, in my case, I was a coordinator for people that had been rejected, and I was bringing them to different kind of paramilitary organizations because maybe they have use as a translator, because you've got guys fighting who maybe they're from the Latin American countries or the Francophone countries, and they're excellent fighters, but how do you communicate with them, with the central leadership? So, but these things have taken time, and like any bureaucracy, it grows slowly. So,
what percent of the men in the Foreign Legion are like in non-military combatant roles? Is it as high as 40%?
I couldn't give you. That's the first I've heard of it, that it's 40%.
Okay.
If it is, I don't even know if that's a true number.
I've never been in the military, so my experience is monastic, but I know that in a monastery, most of it is just maintenance.
Right.
Very few priests. There's very few priests, very few preachers. So
right.
There's always roles for cooks and drivers, and radio operators, and all kinds of things. So
I mean, aside from the attack yesterday that we experienced here in Kyiv, the only real experience I can speak of being directly assaulted was at Yavoriv, and we lost guys who were cooks, from what I understand. They're no less heroes than the guys on the front line, in my opinion.
Can you speak about that attack? Is it still classified?
What can I say about it aside to say that, well, it was a cowardly move. I mean, where is the bravery and the honor in hitting a button and launching a cruise missile and killing young kids and older men? I mean, where is the bravery? And I think the Russian Federation and I suppose their Belarusian counterpart, they it's an inglorious, dishonorable approach they're taking to this conflict. What more can I say?
Was the missile launched from Belarus?
I'm not entirely sure, but as their ally, I assume that they might have had a role in it, but that's just speculation.
And what happened to all the men who are dead? Are their bodies sent back home already, or?
I don't know. I don't want to speculate.
No. And did a lot of guys get discouraged and quit after that when they saw how brutal this war is going to be?
Of course, some people left, but I mean, for fear of their own lives. I mean, how many times have you been hit with a cruise missile?
I have never been hit with a cruise missile, and I've only been in one air raid bunker.
But for me, it was a point to return, so that wouldn't be the narrative. The whole administrative process to getting back involved with the military changed as soon as I returned. But yeah.
Now, I know you might not be able to answer this question, but all the fans of the Ukrainian Foreign Legion are eager for knowledge. So, hasn't it yet been deployed in battle, the Foreign Legion?
Well, I think we have achieved some great victories and unfortunately sustained a few losses. So I believe so, yes.
Okay. So it's been a pleasure. I've been talking to Jersey, that's his code name, because he's from the same state where I was born in the United States. We've been talking about the Ukrainian Foreign Legion and the experience of an American in it in these first months of the Russo-Ukrainian War. This is Brother Alexis Bugnolo from Rome Info, and I hope to bring you other reports firsthand from what's going on here in the Ukraine. God bless.